There are a number of ways to create an MS Word document. We can just right click here, then select new, then MS Word document. If we do that, we will have created a file. We can also go to this icon here, the search icon here, and type Word, and that will start this software. And again, we can create a Word document. We can start with a blank one. So regardless of what method you use, at least you should be able to create an MS Word document. I'll paste some text here that I had just copied from some website, and this is what we will use to go through this lesson. So right here we have the menu bar. The menu bar where we have file, home, insert, and all the way to, end note and Grammarly. But the last two are added by software that I've installed, so you might not have this. We will be looking at each menu one after the other so that we ascertain what is there. Then we have, so this is the menu bar. That said, then we have the status bar here at the bottom. Then we have this bar where menus are represented by use of icons or commands, and we just call that toolbar. And toolbars are present in many softwares. So under file menu, we have a number of things that we can do. We can, of course, go to home, and we'll be able to see all these options. First, we can click on any of this to start a new document. If you want a blank one, or you want to start with a template, a certificate, CV, there are many templates that you can start with, a calendar. So whether you go to home or you go to new, you'll be presented with the options to start a new MS Word document with all of these templates. Majorly, we usually start with a blank one. Open allows you to open an existing MS Word document from your computer. Info gives you a lot of information about that current document. You can see here this has one page, this number of words already, the total time taken to create it, who created it, when it was modified last, when it was printed last. A lot of information is contained here about this document, and this is very important for auditing. We also have protect document under this menu, which is very helpful. We can encrypt this document with a password 1 2 3 4 5, and now not everyone will be able to access this. We have protected it, so can go back, attempt closing this document. Let me save it on my desktop. Yeah, I can still use the same name, and no changes. And when I go to the desktop right here, when I attempt to open this file, it will now prompt me to enter the password. A very good way to protect your documents. So I can go back to file. I now want to remove the password. I'll go back to file, info, protect document, encrypt with password, and all I need to do is just delete this and then save it, make the changes, and I go back to the desktop and open the document and see whether it still prompts me to use a password. Of course it will not, because we've already removed that password. So that's how to protect your MS Word document with a password. Allow me to close this. Right. So that's under file menu. Then the next tab is save. When you want to save, means you want to write that document be permanent on your hard disk. By now we know that as we edit a software that particular time, or as we use a software that particular time, the software is stored inside the RAM, and RAM is transient. RAM is not permanent. So saving, you're writing it permanently to your hard disk. Then we have Save As, allows us a number of things. First, when you use Save As, you can change the name. You can also change the format. I can change my MS Word document to all these possible formats. Now I want to show you how to change it to a PDF. And also, you can change the place where you want to store it. So Save As allows us to either rename it, change the type from MS Word to PDF, or even change where we've stored it. That is, under File, we can use Save As. Then we have Print option. When we are printing a document, we have very many options that we can specify. First is the number of copies. Just type the number here, or use the down and this spinner here to select. Then also select the printer that you want to use. Any printer that you connect to will have its drivers shown here. Sometimes this might not be real printers. For example, Microsoft Print to PDF is not a printer, but it can allow me to convert an MS Word document to a PDF. So it's not an actual printer. These are actual printers in my office. They have their drivers installed there. The next thing is, what pages do you want to print? Is it all the pages? Is it some custom, is it the current page, the one that is displayed here, current page? Or is it some custom print where you want to specify? For example, I have a document with 1 to 30 pages, 1 to 30. I could just write 1 to 30 for all. Or I want to skip some, 1 to 5, then skip 5 to 7, now start from 8 to 30, This is a possible specification of range. Then the next thing is, would you want to print both sides of the document or one? Print both sides or print both sides. Then the next thing is whether it's collated or uncollated. And what this essentially means is, if I have a document with 10 pages and I want to make a copy for my friend so that I have 1 to 10 for myself and 1 to 10 for my friend. The next question is, how should the computer go about this? Should it print a complete copy for you first, then a complete copy for your friend? That is what we call collated. So that when you go to the printer, you'll find page 1 to 10, and then another set of page 1 to 10. Or would you want to print one for you, page 1 for you, page 1 for your friend, all the way to 10. So that if you go to the printer, you'll find page 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, all the way to 10. That is the difference between collated and uncollated. The next thing is the orientation. How would you want your document printed? Is it the landscape or is it portrait? And I know that's not a major problem. We can get that. The next thing is the letter size, the document size. Look at how this changes as we pick different paper sizes. So which paper size would you want to use? So you have that. The next thing is the margin. The text in between, the space in between where the writings start and the edges of the Word document. Sometimes we can use the preset options here. Normal. We need to be very careful with this, especially when we plan on binding the document, then we need to use the right margin. Sometimes we don't have the margins that we want to use here, and we have to define our own custom margins right here. So select custom margins, then you can set that here, the left. And sometimes when you're writing or publishing papers, or a book, different places have different specifications for their margins, and so we need to be careful with that. The next thing is the paper, the number of pages per sheet. Supposing we had a document with 130 pages, it's possible to print 4 pages in this document in one sheet. So look at this. I'll select 4. Of course, that will not be shown here because our document has only 1 page, and that allows me to have 4 pages printed on one sheet. A very good way to save on paper It's also a very good way to print like your PowerPoint notes because you don't want each slide on its own page. Those are some of the most common menus under file, submenus under file menu. I want us now to go to the home menu where we have a lot more options. So right here we have options to paste, and when you are pasting, there are many options that you can use to paste a document. It could be you paste with the design or formatting of where you've copied the text from, or you paste and merge with current text, the format, or you just copy the text only without any formatting. Now look at this many more options that we have here. We'll talk about Format Painter in a few. Look at this. We can change the font. First I'll select this, change the font. There's so many fonts. And sometimes when you're writing, especially if these are papers that are needed in specific place, you might want to know what kind of fonts they expect you to use. Then there is font size here. You can also use these two icons to increment and decrement on the font size. Then there is this icon here. You can translate from lowercase to uppercase, capitalize each word. So depending on what you need, we have those options here. Sentence case, where only the first letter of the first word is in uppercase. We have more options. You can change the font color here, and the many colors here. Anytime you see a drop down next to an icon, it means we have more options right there. Right, then we can highlight, highlight this. We can also use word art. Look at this. Let me just convert this to word art. Especially if it was like a topic and we want it to look a bit more fancy, then we can use word art. Look at that. So I can change it to uppercase and increase the font. Okay. And I can even underline it. That's underlined. And see, we have more menus here. Different ways of underlining. What if I wanted to underline using color? So underline color, and I will use color like green to underline, Other options under home menu here. Italicize your text for emphasis or attention. Put it in bold. Strike through. Supposing you want to show a list and one thing that is not there, you can do that. You can strike through using all these possible ways. You can even strike through using color. A lot of options. Then there is the subscript and the superscript. If I write x2, and I actually needed to write x squared, then I'd select the 2 and push it up there using this icon for subscript. I can use the icon again to lower my cursor, and now I can write x base 2. Rather, you want to make it a subscript. Look at that. And then again, I click on the icon to put the cursor back to its normal position. So these are some menus you can explore. Look, after I've done all this work on this text, I've changed the font, the color, the highlighting and all that. If I needed to do the same on this, I don't need to repeat that. I can just select this. When I select this, I now click on Format Painter to copy the format. Then I apply that format on another set of text, and they'll just look the same. So look at that. We're able to copy the design only. Supposing I wanted to go back to my original text, I'll select this and use this icon here. It's called Clear All Formatting. Clear All Formatting. I'll select that and it clears all formatting. Then we can also use bullets. Bullets allow us to enumerate or to list, like a set of countries. And instead of using bullets, we can also use numbers. we have different types of bullets. You must have noticed any is possible here. Then we have numbers. We can also use numbers for listing. Could be numeric, alphabetic. And then there is alignment. How do you want this text aligned? Right here. To the left, to the right, or center, or what we would call justified balance, which is a very useful feature. So supposing I needed to title this document here, computer science. First, I don't need to struggle pushing this to the middle because I don't even know where the exact middle is. So what I would do is I will just select the text and then click on center, and this will place it at the center instead of me using the tab or the space bar to place it at the middle. Right, we have this icon here. Let me use this icon for sorting. We can, if this was a list of names, we can sort it based on either ascending or descending criteria. Look at that. We can sort it. We can sort a list, and this is a very helpful feature. Then we have, I've not talked of spacing. What determines the space in between these lines? Sometimes when you're writing papers or some documents, you might be given specific spacing between the lines. So this is how to set that spacing. Look at that. Let's retain our 1.0, that spacing. And then we have this. Let me show you how we can use it to push the text to the side. Look at that. Take it back. Indentation, you can use that. What haven't we talked about? We can also use this to color the whole paragraph. Because we've already highlighted this might not come out very well, so we'll use a different paragraph here. And we can use this to highlight the whole of this paragraph. Look at that. Then, supposing I want to bind this text here using some border lines, then I can use this 4 border lines, or just some and not others, the left one only. So this icon here is quite useful in that. Right, now supposing I never wanted to do all this work of editing, I can also choose existing templates or styles. Look at this. I've selected a paragraph that is not edited. I can select some predefined editing styles here. If you don't have much time, you can just use any of these existing formatting styles. Okay. Let's also talk about find. Very useful feature. I'll click on it, and then it will ask me here, what do you want to look for? And I'll write the word software. I want to see all places where the word software appears. And you can see all the instances of software are shown here. Now I can begin to visit each paragraph, each occurrence, making any necessary change. That is find. Sometimes we can use replace. And replace has both find and replace. Supposing I wanted to replace the word software with its synonym, which could be program, then this is what I would do. I'd write program. And then I could set more options like match case. If the case is not matching, should we replace it? For example, someone has written software with uppercase S. So for now, we don't want to use any of this. We just want to replace software with program. Then I'll click replace all. 1 replacement from the beginning and 8 replacements. So all the instances of program have been replaced with software, and we can try search software here, see whether we will find software. You realize we don't have because we have replaced it. Alright, the other feature we can use is dictate. Supposing I did not want to type all this, I can also click on this and just start talking. Hello, today's class is recorded online. Please watch this and do the work that will follow. So you can dictate this and MS Word can type, but this is a feature that might not be available in some versions. That is all what we have. These are optional menus. This is all that we have under home menu. I will do a separate recording for the other options. Thank you.